Hi, everyone. I'm Lisa Caprelli with Happy Lifestyle Online, and this is Monica Petruzzelli. Welcome, Monica.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. This is very awesome to see you again. I haven't seen you in a while.
Yeah, so Monica has done some amazing things. I met her. She came from Chapman University doing some work on my book, Skip a Step, which is going to be done
My favorite.
the end of the year. That I know, fun. Behind the scenes, this is Facebook Live. And Monica helped with some of our video stories and ideas, and she was just there to help with Skip a Step. And so your background first, you went to school for film.
I when I originally started school, I went for environmental science, but then yes, I did end up switching to broadcast journalism documentary, and that's where we connected. And ended up making those behind the scenes kind of documentary styled videos, yeah, for your project. Yeah.
Yes. So Monica is a newscaster in Northern California for
Yeah.
which channel? NBC?
Yes, NBC Channel 3. We go by Redwood News on our newscasts now. That's a recent change. But yeah, it's the NBC affiliate here in Eureka, which is based in Humboldt County in Northern California. Just for some perspective, that's about a 5-hour drive from San Francisco. So it's pretty up there in Northern California. We're about an hour south of Oregon. And we broadcast here in Humboldt and Del Norte counties. And it's just great local news, and I love
And
being a
what's
part of
your
it.
role?
Yeah.
You're on the 5, 6, and 11 o'clock news.
Yeah. So when
How did you get there? For people who don't know the process, and like
yeah,
I said, I think it's amazing. And by the way, folks, Monica doesn't mind sharing. This weekend, Saturday, she's going to be a mere 25 years old.
yay, big
Amazing.
2-5. Do I get to
Yeah.
have a quarter life crisis? Do I get to do that?
Yeah, 25 is so easy. You don't get that till you get older.
Okay, fine. Yeah. Yeah. So the process as far as becoming a newscaster, is that the question here?
Yes, yes.
Being a newscaster was never something I anticipated. I think a lot of folks who end up in this field had dreams of doing it when they were quite young, whereas for me, it was a complete kind of surprise. When I was younger, I figured I would work in the environmental sector, something with policy maybe, and that's what I ended up going to school for, was environmental science and policy, and that ended up being a miserable fit for me, which was to my surprise. So as far as getting into the field of broadcasting, that was a big surprise, because suddenly, halfway through getting my bachelor's degree for environmental science, I go, this is not making me happy. So I had to really look to my family, my mentors, and try to come up with a different plan, because I realized, if I get this degree, I would feel a little locked in this field. So instead of finishing that, I took a 180 pivot and went to apply to become a journalism student, which was, quite to my surprise. And I ended up switching my major to a documentary focused major of journalism, and still had no idea I would end up in news. And I ended up just taking a class. It was just a newscast class. I think some high schools even have something similar to this. I highly recommend taking advantage of, this kind of an opportunity, because that's where I really discovered my love for live news, like, we're having kind of a sense of right now. Oh, there's my mom. Hi, Mom. She's watching.
Oh,
Hello.
hi,
Yeah.
Dad. Yes,
So,
there's just the last name.
so then as far as, once I got to that step of knowing that I wanted to pursue news, then it was just like, okay, we just got to get running, because I had 2 years left of my bachelor's degree, and I wanted to spend every second of it pursuing this career. And so you helped me, Lisa. You gave me that internship with you, so I learned a lot of behind the scenes kind of camera production. I interned for ABC7 in LA. I took that newscast class, and until I was leading other students, I I took every internship opportunity I could up until, the graduation. Then it was another big question mark. As far as, graduating on time, that didn't happen. As far as finding a job in the field, that was
and
a
that's pretty
whirlwind.
common for a lot of people to graduate, and they don't. I taught at Long Beach State, and I was teaching graduate students, and a lot of them, after they graduate, it's not that easy to go get out the job you had in mind.
No, yeah.
How did you overcome that challenge?
That was a huge challenge for me. And you mentioned, that I should speak to some of my failures. And I think that I felt like this was one of them, was not being able to graduate on time. And I think a lot of people in college and any educational system, not being on the same level, being on the same par as their peers, can appear devastating when it's not. So I had to take an extra semester, and but I used that to spend some extra time. I think I was still interning with you at that time. But really, what happened for me was I got extremely lucky, but I also had myself placed where I was ready for the opportunity when it surprised me. I had
and do you feel it was a surprise, or do you feel it was like a law of attraction when people talk about when you're ready, get ready for it, and ready for that energy and having good things in your life?
I think it's a mix. I think it's definitely a mix. I was ready to go out and pursue this career, and there was nothing that would stop me in doing that. But I had a very different vision of what it was going to look like. So I had a plan set out for me. I was engaged. I was going to get married at the time, which is part of that whole failure that happened at that time of my life. That would have led me to my fiance at the time was stationed in Guam. So that would have led me to be living in Guam. And I was talking with the local news station there about becoming a local reporter over there in Guam, which is a U.S. territory. And, that relationship fell to pieces during my finals week of all periods of time, my finals week of my last semester of college at Chapman. And oh boy, did that feel like a failure, because not only was I losing this relationship, but I was losing this beginning to my career that I had started to set up for myself. So I was completely lost, as I think a lot of people at that age feel. And then all of a sudden, out of the blue, I got an email from my news director now, who he found me. He found my reel online. He found it on some website that I had posted it on. And he reached out to me, and just like that, life changed. So
what, if you don't mind sharing, many people go through relationships and breakups. What in a nutshell, what was yours about?
Well, my relationship, I was going through so much at that time that I think I was trying to cling on to this idea of something stable, because I was so unstable at that time. And that's a big part of, me trying to find happiness, achieve happiness too, was just being able to overcome a lot of mental instability and hardship in that sense. And that relationship was really a grasp at something stable. It was not, which is the ironic part. The relationship was not stable at all. It was very sudden. We met almost immediately, got engaged, and then it, burst into flames, as those kind of relationships do. That seems to be the way that those play out. So this wasn't.
Okay. Thank you. Hold on. I have someone saying to turn down, to edit this part out. It's an echo. Do you guys hear an echo still?
Let's see.
How's that? Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah. Whatever is
Okay.
best.
Let us know if how you all are hearing us. Thanks for your feedback.
Mm-hmm.
So switching topics, if you will. So what have been some of your greatest accomplishments so far?
Okay, I mean, I love that you asked that. I think to narrow it down, I really would have to give a blanket statement in that I think my biggest accomplishment has been being able to connect to people's humanity in different venues, whether that be broadcasting for my job, or whether that be documentary filmmaking, or whether that be music, or whether that be just being empathetic to people. I think my biggest accomplishment has definitely been just being able to connect with people, make them feel less alone. And one example I'll use for that to make it kind of make sense is a documentary I worked on in college, which was called Alzheimer's: A Love Story. Hello, Chris. Hello. Thank you for watching. I can't actually see all the comments, I don't think. But my biggest accomplishment, I'll use that example, the Alzheimer's: A Love Story, in that I didn't expect so many people to have this much of a reaction to it, but looking back at it, that it makes perfect sense. So many people share these kinds of struggles with having a family member with dementia or some form of that kind of forgetting later on in life, and being able to use my skills as a documentary filmmaker that in a way that I could show people that they're not alone, that life can still be very fulfilling, that meant more to me than anything. And in doing news, I found
Which is, by the way, you went to school and your passion experience was behind the camera, and here you are now in front of the camera.
Yeah, it's ironic. I didn't know for sure if I would end up in front of or behind the camera, and still I kind of think that, you know, in the end I'll probably be behind the camera, but I don't care, because like my mission is really to connect with people's humanity, and I love being able to do that with news. And the way that I've kind of seen my my job be able to progress is that I can really make all of my newscasts mini documentaries, and that like I can try my best to connect with people every single evening live, at 5, 6, and 11. And that is definitely my greatest pride and joy, is just being able to connect with people and their minds, and it just brings me so much joy. So I have to definitely claim that as my greatest accomplishment, even though it's not necessarily something specific.
Yeah, that's a big accomplishment. Some people wait a long time before working with the news station as yourself. So that's I am very proud of you, Monica.
Thank you. And thank you for helping me, because, people like you who I think invest in younger people, or just other people in general who see that and allow them an opportunity, I think that is so valuable. So thank you.
Well, I think mentorship is important for all ages. I had mentors for me when I was young.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm hearing echo again.
Yeah.
Hold on. This is what we do. So yeah, I always talk about my friend Cindy, who was my mentor when I was like my young 20s, and it was because of her, fast forward, that I ended up in California and started different companies. And to this day, we are friends. Hey, Raquel. Thank you. There's Raquel. She's part of our Happy Lifestyle Influencers. And so it's important to give mentorship. And I'll tell you something, that the youth always teaches you back something. Mm-hmm. So I love working with people of all ages, and I mentor all kinds of people today, whether it's relationships or business, all the different hats that we all wear today in balancing life. Yeah. And it's such a what I love about a younger mind, not that older young minds don't have that, is you're very enthusiastic and you want to learn.
Mhm.
And I feel that same way. I've never stopped being enthusiastic about things. I've learned. I keep up with technology with younger minds than me.
Yeah.
You know, and so I think it's important. And you know, if you're not already, one day you'll mentor back people. I kind of feel like it's a pay it forward, good karma kind of thing.
Absolutely. Yeah. You know, someone said this quote to me. I think it was one of my professors in college. And what you're saying right now really brings me back to this. She said, once you reach the top, send the elevator back down. And
Oh,
I really believe in that. I think investing in like our youth and people who are going to be taking our positions in, you know, just a matter of years is so important. As you've shown. So again, thank you.
yes. Thank you. So one of the things I talk about every week on Happy Lifestyle Online is 5 hats to achieving happiness and having a good life. And the hats in no particular order. 1 is family, 2 is friendship, 3 is business career, the 4th is connection. We're all wired for connection, and the 5th is adventure. So what do you do to have balance in those hats? And how do you place those values on where you are at your age?
Yeah. So I think there's infinite value in family and friendship. And that brings me to another quote that I wanted to mention really quick, which is one of my favorites that I grew up with was, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. And that's a quote that I grew up with my mom. She had it in our living room. It was on a plaque in our living room. And I grew up not understanding what that meant. We may not have it all together, but together we have it all. And
moms have quotes, or later on you go, that's what that was there for.
Yeah, exactly. Because now I'm like, oh, yeah, that makes perfect sense. Because I think balance for me has a lot to do with prioritizing what's important. And as a Libra, balance is very important to me. And I'm all about it. So I think, you know, prioritizing, you know, family, friends, and especially my own self too. It's really easy to get lost on what's important when there are so many things going on.
Who do you look up to, or who do you see, whether it's personal or someone you see from afar, that you admire, that you like, I want to adopt that from that person?
Oh, my mom. My mom.
Aw.
She is incredible in that she has accomplished so much in her career, yet so much in her family life. And for me, like, just think about her. Like,
Oh my God, and she's watching. That's so sweet. I love that. So, okay, you have to tell us about your mom in a nutshell. Tell about her background and
oh my gosh. My mom comes from the Midwest and grew up in a pretty big family, and realized, you know, that she was just like, she just had so many dreams, like that she was never going to let anything stop her from doing. And she hasn't. And I love that about her. And I hope to be able to emulate that in my own life.
oh my God. Well, you're doing good so far. And so in relationship, whether it's friendship or your own intimate relationship, what's important to you? What do you value there?
Oh my gosh. Something I definitely value is patience. I think, like with me, as you can tell right now, I'm a really emotionally charged person. Whether that's like
to be authentic and vulnerable and real.
Yes, vulnerable. And you know, I heard some celebrity describe it this way, and I thought it was perfect. Was that I have like a scale of 1 to 10, like a happiness scale. That if I'm like below a 3 or above a 7, I'm crying. So I think, you know, something I value in relationships is someone who can understand that and be patient with that, and also someone who has humility, someone who doesn't like who doesn't think any higher of themselves than the rest of the world. I think
Right.
I really, really value equality and just that every single person is equal. Like, I think that that's something I think everyone believes in or wants to believe in.
Yes.
And I think it's something
So,
that's true. So, yeah.
thanks for sharing. Okay, so biggest failure or letdown?
There's so many.
Challenge. I know before we got on the show, you were going to share some things that you didn't mind sharing with other people that maybe could relate, or things that obviously we all are here to have love, happiness, harmony, and no one's perfect. We go through our stuff or struggle. So what has some of that been for you?
Yeah. So I think I thought about this one a lot. Should I try taking this thing off? Do you think that's echoing? Let me try it.
Yeah. Let me edit this part. Oh yeah, now I hear echo though. Try. This is Monica Petruzzelli.
5, 6, 7, 8. Let's talk about failure, because that is a huge part of happiness, I think, is dealing with failure. Is it echoing still? Do you want me to put this back on?
I don't hear echo. Can you all listening let us know if we both sound okay?
Yeah, if you hear echo, just put it in the comments and we'll try to adjust accordingly.
Yes.
But failure, oh boy. I think my biggest failure has been in my life not being able to recognize my own setbacks, which for me has been depression, not being able to realize what depression was doing to me for a long time, and blaming myself for it. So I think that was one of my bigger failures that looked like a failure when really it was more being imposed on me. And it led to a lot of failures. Like, I mean, I'm not trying to say that this whole path of mine has been smooth.
Yes, which it isn't for anyone. I mean, you know, a lot of times on social media today, nobody posts about their, you know, their bad days. If you do, people are like, why is she posting that? Or,
I think that's
which is probably true, you know, because we there's so much positivity out there, and it is easy to, as the saying goes, you attract into your life that which you like. In bringing up about depression, though, like when was that more prevalent for you at a time period in your life?
You know, it started at a really young age, and I think it can start at a really young age, and that can lead you to not even realizing, hi, Bobby, what it is. So, you know, I grew up in very common, just would lose interest and would disassociate with things. And I didn't know that wasn't normal. You know,
Right.
Kind of leading myself away from my own interests and not being able to experience happiness in the same way as my peers wasn't something that I knew was going on. Until I was.
So what did you do to, you know, during that period of life? What did you do to then, you know, as it is a different process for people, whether it's, you know, learning how to do different methods. Everyone goes through something different because no one wants to be stuck or depressed. Like, that's for the good.
And it's with my own mental health journey, you know, it really came to a peak where it was around 2016 where I was just gone. My mom called me lethargic. I was just disinterested in everything. I was so depressed, and I tried everything. You know, I tried so many ways of getting help, and I think it's that determination that it takes is being willing to seek help and being able to let go of things that aren't serving you. And for me,
eventually it was discovered it was, a bipolar depression. And getting that diagnosis was huge because I was finally able to be put on the right kind of medication. And a lot of folks, medication is not for them. And, that's okay. But I will say for me, it has helped to even me.
Yeah, you do hear a lot out there that, medication is BP. That's like the last thing. There's other things you can do holistic. I am not in the medical field. Everybody has their own data, and whatever's true for you is true. It works.
Yeah. But I will say it's much more than just that. Medication it's a baseline foundational help, but you also have to do things. And this is, just what I learned from therapists. Not that I'm not a professional on this. And I'll just use this as a little PSA really quick that if you need help, there are professionals who can help you. I know this to be true because I went through this. But for me, what has also helped has been music. That's been huge for me, is being able to have that recreationally. And that's something
I want to talk about that. That's your new project is a band.
Yeah. A lot of people are surprised when they learn that I'm in a band, because that's not typically what they necessarily would expect to be doing in their spare time. But that is my passion project, and that is what really brings like the happiness factor to me. Like newscasting, I love it. It makes me so happy, but it is my job. It is a job, and jobs are work, and it's not necessarily always, happy, joy. Whereas with music, I do it purely for the love of the sport.
By the way, you just went watching you from talking, and I appreciate you sharing about, some of the challenging times of your life. And then as soon as we talked about music, your whole face just lights right up.
Yeah, because that's really what it is for me, and I had to set a boundary with music, where, I told myself, like, I don't ever plan on making this my career. Music is something that is pretty much purely recreational, just for, the love of it, because I feel like if I take it on as a career, it might kill the joy. The music business, as you know, is a business. And for me, it's something where I can escape.
So what do you do within the realm of music?
So right now, it really started out kind of like your son. I just started making YouTube videos as a kid. I picked up guitar from a little bit from my dad. And then when I got into high school, I started taking a guitar lesson and a guitar class. And then there was suddenly an outlet where I could, write songs, or I could cover songs that I connect with.
You're also good. You're a singer too.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I love to sing and play guitar. And as far as my music endeavors right now, I'm playing with a band in Humboldt County called Band O Loko. And I'm also starting a new project with one of my best friends in the area, Rachel Beccaria. And we don't even have a name for this band yet, but it looks like it's
two bands.
Yeah, so this.
So one is Band O Loko, Band O, and then LOKO. We wrote that earlier, and then the other one is to be named.
Yes,
but you should use social media to help you name it.
I know, yeah. So if anybody has an idea for this band name, drop it in the comments. Because seriously, there's like 6 people in this band, and we all have so many ideas for a name that we can't settle on one. So
what kind of music is it, Monica?
So we have me and Rachel are both going to be the singers. So it's a 2 female fronted lead band with some really strong lead guitar and keys and drums. And it's going to be a fun, full kind of a band, and we'll play probably locally. So if anybody needs band, Hit me up, drop a comment, whatever, however you want to reach out.
Yeah, so follow Monica, and Monica, you got to share clips of your music, and we want to, I'll have to make a trip one of these days. I need notice though.
And it goes back to my accomplishment. Oh, thanks, Dad. Sequoia Sounds. I really like that a lot, actually, because that goes with the area. Because I live amidst the redwoods. If you don't know much about Humboldt County, for anyone who doesn't know much about Humboldt County, we are behind the redwood curtain, as it's called, and we're surrounded by beautiful sequoias. So that's something we're really lucky to have here. So thanks, Dad. I love that name, Sequoia Sound.
Oh, is there great hiking? Great places there to hiking, backpacking? I could do with my guys.
Anyone
okay.
Please visit Humboldt County. We have flights now directly from LA to Humboldt. So come visit Humboldt County. I'll give you a tour. Just
okay, I'm there. I'm going to plan to come.
Please do. It's absolutely gorgeous. That's why I love it.
So, Monica, what do most people not know about you?
Not know about me. This is something that's kind of funny. I am actually very introverted.
No.
I think a lot of people don't realize it because I call myself an extroverted introvert, but I'm absolutely an introvert, and I always have been. And it goes back to, when I was a kid, like, I love my friends and I love my family. I love being around them, but I have to energize myself by being alone sometimes, and by maybe just playing my guitar by myself sometimes, or, just like how some people have to recharge in that way. Like,
yes.
And that's, something I think a lot of people don't realize, as, someone who broadcasts a lot and interacts a lot with the public and is kind of constantly always in touch with people, that I am introverted. But what helps nowadays in these modern times is that I can be introverted, but I can also still connect with people because we do have social media. We do have messaging, and we do have live broadcasts like this. All I'm kind of doing this morning is just, kind of take care of myself this morning, and I can do this without even leaving my home. This is remarkable technology that, kids now don't even realize, I think, how remarkable.
There's so many things. Well, I did a lot of background about me I did a lot of radio advertising and having radio shows in the early 2000s, and reaching, real FM AM station, which this platform did not exist. And if it did back then, I would be doing what I'm doing now, and talking to people, getting the best experiences, and interviewing them. So thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. I want to, also just stress that even though I am introverted, I think it's so important for us introverts to stay connected to our friends and family and seek out opportunities where we're uncomfortable, because, like they say, growth comes when you leave your comfort zone.
Well, I'm also, people are surprised that I grew up really introverted myself.
Yeah,
I was super quiet. I always said my only voice was on paper, which is probably still why I like writing so much.
Yes.
And I had to learn how to speak, and it was, I hated that. If I could have just hide and never speak and just write and be, but I learned, like, no, you got to show up to life, and it's a learned process. But I'm like you, that I could be a big homebody and enjoy it, or just be with a small amount of people. And, when I meet different people, and it's a lot of energy, and you want to give your best self. I always say what's worth doing is worth doing well. Yeah. So I love connecting with people like you do, and giving that, because people are drawn to that. But then like you said, there's a time where you just need to disconnect. And that's one of the reasons my guy Chris and I, we like to go backpacking, hiking. He takes me a lot of outdoor places. And I love that I could be off the grid, even though I could really turn off my phone anytime. And it's just nice to refuel. So Chris says, So here's Chris, my guy. He says, do you ever see Sasquatch in the woods? So he's obsessed with Sasquatch, by the way.
Oh yeah, we have Bigfoot. Bigfoot lives up here. Come up here and you can try and find him. He's pretty hard to find, but we have museums dedicated to Bigfoot. So come up here, come visit.
So Monica, I'm going to wrap up Happy Lifestyle Show. It's such a pleasure speaking with you. I want to ask you though, you're still, Monica again is going to be 25 this weekend. My God, I can't even remember what 25 was like, except for I had huge aspirations, and I will say that life has lent itself well. What kind of mark do you want to leave in this world? What are some of your goals? And thinking back, what do you want to do?
When I was a child, I didn't know what I wanted to do. Like I told you, I never dreamt of newscasting or anything like that. I didn't even know I would end up being able to sing or play guitar or anything like that. All I knew was that I wanted to change the world. And as a child, when I was 5 years old, I decided to go vegetarian. And that's something that's evolved a lot for me that I think has been really actually important to me is my being able to live like a vegan lifestyle, and that has been really meaningful to me. As far as like the impact I want to leave on the world is, I want to push that equality and peacefulness that I know that we are able to achieve, but has been really difficult for our generation, I guess, or any generation, I think we are struggling particularly hard right now to get along. So I just want to, really be able to lead by example.
Yes, that is a wonderful thing, to lead by example. And that is one of the ways you can live a good life.
Yes. And I think it comes to tolerance, and I think it comes to being able to express those ideals artistically. I think supporting art, supporting music is so important. And I think when you give happiness, you get happiness. So I hope that can be something
Thank you.
Get out of.
Well, that's a positive way to end the show. Thank you. Everyone, please follow Monica Petruzzelli. She's doing amazing things, and she's going to keep us informed about her music and passion and, balance for happiness in life. I'm Lisa Caprelli. If you know anyone or recommend someone to be interviewed that has a great story, great lessons and experience, please go to happylifestyleonline.com. And I leave you with one of my favorite quotes. I hope you live a life you're proud of. I hope you live a life that's true. And if you're not, I hope you have the strength to start over again. That's by F. Scott Fitzgerald.
Perfect.
Thanks everyone for watching. Talk to you soon, Monica.
Thank you, Lisa. Talk to you.
Bye.